User disconnected from your channel.
All right,
Your
good
channel
morning.
was edited.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Monday afternoon of the Squad55 meeting. Just bear with us, Chiefs. We've been here for like the last 4 hours on meetings because Kicks decided to call the meetings in one day. So we're a little tired, but we're going to get this meeting started with the roll call first, and then we'll go from there. So we'll start from the bottom, Wills. Skipping Wills, Russell.
Present.
Thank you, Russell.
That was Wheels.
Present.
Nice Small Police.
Present.
Peter.
Present.
PB.
I don't have any gifts.
Laz.
I'm here.
Gibby.
What?
Martin. Skibby, Martin, Cam.
What's up?
Martin's here.
Martin's here, thank you. Kami.
Here.
Travis, my love.
Honorary number 3 is currently present and attending the all-hands meeting.
Goliath, calm down.
I am calm. What?
I was talking to Travis. Thank you.
Oh,
Lucas.
I'm here.
Jazzer.
I'm here.
Francis.
Present.
Javi.
Here.
DL.
If I have to be.
And Kicks.
Yeah, I think I'm here.
Sorry, I missed my name. I am here, but I'm afraid I'm heading off because I've got work in 6 hours.
I didn't.
Okay, we'll see you later, bud.
Roll call just for purposes. Eddie, you're here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Me, Myers can be on here. Okay, Kicks is all yours.
User disconnected from your channel.
There's Squad55 members. I just got a few things on my list as always. You know, it usually takes about 3.5 hours. So we'll get through this quickly. Start off our PayPal balance. We had a couple donations last month. Didn't meet our goal. We're up to $503.46. That is US dollars. I was really happy when I saw like 6 something, but of course Blackout has it in Canadian, and you know those Canadians. So $503.46. We had no expenses for the month of March, and we have no expenses coming up really until the beginning of next year, which is the TeamSpeak server. And I think we have one more year on the website. That will be our biggest expenditure. As of April 8th, we have a total of 80 members. That is including recruits. Let's see. First things, obviously there's been some changes around the squad. Our master records have been changed. We got rid of the Google Doc master records, and we kind of realized that our roster actually do a lot more than we intended. So we moved everything from the profiles to the rosters. So if you go on the roster page, you can click on your name and you can see all your certification dates, your PAF count, your join date, birth date, all that. Everything's on one page. That way we don't have to look at 9 different pages, and primarily just for administration, we don't have to update 14 different things. We obviously have our Operation KISS going on, and we're trying to keep things simple around here and you know, cut out the paperwork, unnecessary paperwork. Javi, keep keying up.
Sorry.
Microphone
So that's the
muted.
profiles. We also did do some background updates as well, and really not much you guys can see about that. Hamachi. Hamachi's been good. I've been watching it. Everyone's got their user IDs correct most of the time. There's usually about 5 or 6 members that kind of still haven't. I just noticed that. So I just kick them. So if you are just wondering why you've been removed from Hamachi or why you keep getting on and you're disconnected, well, it's probably more than likely you're getting kicked because your name isn't correct. As it is said in the crew room, it's supposed to be your ID number in brackets with your name. And that's just so we know it's you and how many accounts you have on there. if anyone has any accounts on there that's stuck for some reason, maybe a different computer that you don't use anymore, or it's a one-time thing and you're on it, let us know. We can remove it. We can kick that account. We'll probably, towards the next month or so, we'll probably just do a mass kick and do a fresh thing, but just so you guys know. Forum pictures, I don't know why, but apparently that's a thing right now. People are having trouble posting forum pictures. It's very simple. You have to upload your photo to another source. So like photobucket.com is what a lot of people use. And then all you have to do is get the main link for the photo, HTTP, blah, 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 .jpeg or whatever it is. You just put it between these two brackets and I'll show you. Without the smiley face, that's what it looks like. It's got the image bracket and the image with the hash mark on the back. That's all you need to put in the form and your image will appear. Whatever image you're posting, please try to refrain from using ones that are like, I don't know, 2000 by 6000. That could be very disruptive of that form whenever someone clicks on it, and obviously it will take 9 years to load. Okay, so that's how you post a form image. So just upload the photo bucket, and I think sometimes it does give you the code on it. You can just copy the full thing and just paste it and you'll be good. That's how you post a photo on the forums. And I know that's been kind of come up with this next topic of the homepage image. I know there was a talk about that. Like I said, we'd said in the forums, me and Blackout, we've always asked people to do it. We just kind of got tired of asking because no one seemed to have any interest to do it. So we just kind of make professional images in the editor, or images we have from when we play in game, because we're always taking photos. So like I said,
User joined your channel.
So if you want to have your photo published, or a chance to get published, you can send it to me. I think we'll make it a little bit more formal whenever we figure out what we want to do, like a form or something. You can submit it in, but there is very strong requirements because obviously we want professional photos, and those things can be found. Where'd you post those, Eddie? Right on the member chat?
General chat.
General chat. You can just look it on the general chat. There is talk of maybe even opening it up to the emergency 4. Did you say the emergency 4 community, Eddie?
Well, emergency, any communities out there.
Okay, so I guess any community that has a photo, or someone, Joe Blow from Emergency Planet, wants to submit a photo, try to be more community friendly. That's fine. Just like I said, we keep it very strict because we're always, a step above the other clans here. So just follow those rules, and there's a good chance your image will be published. So yeah, that's how you do that. If not, then I'll just continue to do what I do. All right. The staff meeting, we did discuss a couple of changes, possible changes. We're trying out some new NIMS play, kind of updating it, making it a little bit more structured and more realistic to kind of keep people on the same page and make it a little easier instead of having 19 different names for command and calling another unit. It'll be pretty much already set in stone, so it sounds a lot smoother, and it's not different, 9 different titles going around and everyone's confused on who's who. So we are working on that, so you can expect probably a forum post or something on that later down this month or so of how that's going to work. We're pretty much trying to be more into the role play, trying to get more into the realism in role play here. Not a lot, just a little bit, and a lot of you guys actually do it already, but we want to encourage it, especially the other members, that, like, if you have a patrol unit, we'll say police for example, I've been using this, patrol 4 is on scene, then you have like medic 3 come on scene, and then you have medic 3 transporting. That can get pretty dry, especially if you're playing a long game. we're not making it required or anything. Obviously, we encourage it, but like you can get on scene and say, Patrol 4's on scene, Medic 3 or Medic 4 to Patrol. I'm sorry, I can't even talk now. Patrol 4 to Medic 4. You got a patient, cold, clammy, chest pain, some shortness of breath. We'll have him prep for transport, or we'll be in the Daily Mags store. Waiting your arrival, something like that, to kind of like keep it fresh, kind of make it a little bit more colorful. Doesn't have to be like a huge, thing, because it can. You don't want to take up too much radio chatter, but if you just little things like that, you can make the game a lot more colorful and a lot more fun, and maybe like be more involved in the game. Like you can do like Javi had a good example. It was, you come on scene of a fire alarm, you come on scene. Instead of just saying, okay, it's a false alarm, cancel, you can be like, okay, we'll be on scene investigating, doing 360, whatever, and you get on scene, come back, say, okay, we had a small kitchen fire, it was out upon arrival, going to do some natural ventilation, all units can clear, with the exception of Engine 4, or something like that.
Microphone
So just little
activated.
stuff, and it's not, like I said, it's a little, not required, but we're trying to get some more color into the game and make it more fun for all you guys. And like I said, I know you guys are talking about, I think it was, PBs, they was questioning about the NIMS, and that give you a little insight. It was a Fire 3 game, and we kind of threw something out there just to try it, and it worked really good. We assigned attack groups. Some of you might have been in it listening, and I was attack group 2 for King and Richard, and Fire 1 was primary, but it would be called
User
attack
joined
1
your channel.
for like the side of Apollo there. And it was good because we had our units assigned. He gave me a set of units to control, and that's what I controlled, and I requested anyone else from staging that I needed. EMS had their own command, and it worked great. Everyone knew who to talk to, everyone knew who to call, and it was just real smooth. It's going to be a little bit of a change. It'd be a little bit of a game changer for some people, but like I said, it's something we're going to slowly transition to. That way everyone gets it, and I think we can be we'll be the best sounding squad in Emergency 4, and I think we can do it. We probably already are, so we'll just put that there. Other than that, I'll just bring this up. Like I was talking to the officers, there has been some drama recently. We have been handling it. I know sometimes it seems like it takes a while, but we do get it under control. It does take some time because we got to do our investigations and stuff. Even though we have to do 1,900 of them, we get it. We have it under control now. It seems like there's always gonna be drama. It's what it is. I just want to remind everyone, we're all here to have fun. We're all here to come here to play a game. I know I was in a game the other day, and someone was kind of getting on a new recruit or a probie for, not knowing something. But just remember, you were there, I was there, we were all in those shoes at one point, and we're all here to have fun. You can pause the game, tell them what to do nicely, or just gonna be like, hey, try doing this or something. You don't need to yell at them, you don't need to put them down. We're all here to have fun, and obviously to have a lot of people here so we can always have ops games going. So yeah, just that's all. Just remember that we're just here to have fun. It's a game. We do realism, and I know that does get a little stressful for some people, but just there. Yeah, Eddie.
Remember that?
Eddie, you messaged me. I was told you were talking about that. Do you want me to talk about that?
I got it.
Okay. Other than that, that's it on my list. I actually went pretty fast today. That was pretty good. So yeah, that's it. I guess we'll skip DL for now since he's on the phone. Eddie, you're up.
Oh God, I got so much. All right, let me get my PowerPoint out. Get everything going. So the first thing on the list. After working on it for about 2 months, we have finally got the newsletter released, and it is done for this month. I don't think, it doesn't look like, no, he's not here. Sorry, but IMAX did most of the work for the newsletter.
I just got here. I'm here.
Okay, I didn't see you. IMAX did most of the work for the newsletter, so he did a big part of it. We did make a website for the newsletter. It's just something that's on the side. The newsletter is there under current issue, and you can go on and read it. It took a lot of work. It really did, but we finally got it done. We got, let's see, liaisons came through. They made a section, so you can read on that on your free time. We got all the member promotions. It's a little old because it did take us 2 months, but hopefully we'll have a monthly now. The Chiefs Corner, Kix made a little article. We do have a member in action where there's actual real life stories of IMAX and me and Javi doing some calls. And if the members, if y'all ever want to post anything, or you have an article of a call that you want to make or a big incident that you made, let us know. We'll let you write it out and we'll put it in a newsletter. It's not just for officers. And we got much more of that stuff. So we want it to be a monthly thing. We're taking any suggestions. Feel free to write anything that you want, and we'll post it in the newsletter. The newsletter itself is going to be more of a community thing. We want it to be more of a, I'm going to try to get it posted on the EM4 forums. I know it has the squad's name all over it. That's what I'm a little worried about. But we are opening up the screenshot of the month contest. We're opening up next month, or this month, we're actually going to highlight a real life fire department. We're going to call it a fire department of the month. You know, so if y'all, any pictures of y'all's fire department, we'll pick one and we'll write about it, you know, what they have, what's established. So if y'all have any of that, go ahead and do it. Like I said, we will be opening it up more to an EM4 community, so hopefully we can get some more suggestions and posts from them. And we're just going to go from there. I see it just growing in the future. And as of right now, me and IMAX are the main ones that are working on it, but I do plan on getting some staff together. The hard thing, and it's also the same thing with the mod. It's very hard for multiple people to work on one project because you have to update it and then send it out. You could do a Dropbox kind of thing, but for some reason the templates in Word doesn't like that. So literally IMAX had it, he had it on his computer, and then whenever I would want to make an edit, I would ask him for it, he would email it to me, I would make the edit, send it back to him, and we would make sure we put version numbers so we wouldn't get confused. So it's a little confusing, it takes a little logistics, but I think we can get around it. And Google Docs won't work because Google Docs doesn't like it for some reason.
Google Docs takes formatting, so it takes an hour to do something that if you do it on Word, it takes 2 seconds.
And a little bit more about it. Right now, just so all your members know, the point of contact for the newsletter is Eddie and IMAX. Like they said, they might be getting some staff or editors together in order to make it a regular thing as far as, you know, people, the actual editors. But if you have anything, like Eddie said, the fire department or you know, a story that y'all want to put on there, talk to Eddie and IMAX because they're the two ones that are point of contact right now.
And like I said, this one's a little outdated. This is back to February, but you know, like I said, we had to find a template and do all this stuff, and we made this all free. So it wasn't anything that the squad paid for. It was all just me and IMAX looking for templates, and it really wasn't that bad. I mean, we found one pretty quick. Other than that, there's probably some typos in there. The Dispatch 3-player. I was supposed to give PB some time to talk about it, but I was informed that Kix already approved it. So we are going to be looking into that. Because it's official, me, Javi, and Bevan will have to train up the officers on how to do it. We will have to make sure all the officers know how to do it because it's going to be an official thing. We also need to scour all the SOPs and figure out anything we need to update it for it. So it's going to be a big project. Yeah, it's the 3-man dispatch. Just bear with us. I think we'll have it done by the end of the month. Hopefully. If not, then we'll see where we're going to go from there. I'm going to have to be talking a lot to PB to see how the logistics go. We got to make a document on how to set it up, or a video, which I think we can do pretty quick. So yeah, we're going to have to be doing all of that. Will it just work out like the training instructors? Oh, I know what you mean. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, if it ends up not working out, then we'll just scratch it. I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, we were
What?
supposed to talk. We were supposed to talk more about it today, but PB had a phone call and he couldn't come down, and we can't really talk about it unless the officers see it in action. So, yeah.
Almost all the officers here have seen it in action, so.
From what I heard, they haven't.
What officers here haven't seen it in action?
Me, Eddie,
I haven't seen it.
Jazzer,
Wheels.
yeah.
I wasn't here.
And we're not here to discuss that we don't want to see it, and we're going to have to now. It's official. So we will see it in action. Plus, besides that, PB, we need a documentation on how to set it up. And I will help you work on that now since it's official. We need to train up the instructors how to do it. We need to make sure the CAD works on it. We need to make sure there's a lot of stuff we're going to have to do. So we'll get it done. I will make sure to put it on my priority list since it's official now.
Which CAD, though, are you talking about? You talking about the basic or the advanced?
Well, the advanced CAD has been released to everybody, so both.
Okay, because I figured out that multiple people can edit at the same time in the same portion of the CAD, the advanced CAD. Me and Fire 81 have done it on numerous occasions.
So that's the basic CAD, they can do that too, right?
Right. Basic CAD, whoever's running PD dispatch just controls PD. Whoever's running EMS dispatch controls just the EMS portion. Whoever's running fire controls east, west, and south.
Okay, so that's something that we won't have to look at then. That's something we can check off of our list. Like I said, me, Javi, and Bevan, we're going to get a whole list together of what needs to be done. I understand that people think that just because we release it, it's done. No, we do need to look it up and figure out if the SOPs match with it. We need to get ready for it because we can't just release something and expect all the SOPs and all of the rules to work with it. No, we have to look at it, take it into, precaution and figure it out.
Right, but it actually does comply with the SOPs and SOGs. We do everything exactly the way we do in an ops game. It's just we just have 3 different dispatchers controlling 3 different departments.
And I understand that. Again, I don't know that, Javi doesn't know that, and Beaver doesn't know that. So we're going to look at it.
Okay.
The next thing I need to bring up is the box numbers have been removed. We no longer have box numbers. The SOPs will be updated today. I think they're already updated. Well, not on the website, but we have the updated version. So we no longer use box numbers. That's a system that was brought in years ago, and it doesn't serve a purpose anymore. So no longer it has to be said. No longer can you say you request a box 25, a box 24. No. Now it's plain English. I'm going to request a residential structure fire or a commercial structure fire.
So basically I can come out when I'm dispatching and say engine 1, ladder 1, engine 2, ladder 4, squad 3, medic 2, you need it for a residential structure fire or commercial structure fire.
Yes. We are going to be looking at the motor vehicle accidents, and we will be updating that very soon here as well. I know that's something that we had to discuss with Francis. We just didn't have time in the officer meeting. So we're going to be looking at that as well. But the box numbers, we're no longer saying box numbers. I know it's going to take a while for us to get used to it. I know I'll be hearing a couple of people saying box numbers within, next couple of weeks. We have to get away from it.
The only thing that's been eliminated has been the major incident. So any major incident is all just dispatchers of motor vehicle crash, and IC will, when they get on scene, will request what they need. We're going to test it for a month, and we'll change it where it's needed. But that's the only thing we were having trouble figuring out of how we want to roll with that.
And I see
that wouldn't be hard at all, to be honest with you. That would not be hard. If y'all need help with it, I'll help you with it. Because where I dispatched that, we didn't use box numbers at all. So.
Okay, so some discussion in chat on how do we use alarms. I mean, it's basically the same way. You still, I need you to respond to your residential structure fire. You get on scene and you still upgrade to first, second, third alarms. Box number is just box 21-A, box 21-B. No longer are we using those. It's just plain English, residential structure fire, commercial structure fire, outdoor fire.
So yeah, I agree. You can still say, strike me a second alarm on this one, and you can still send those, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what about the CADs then, since the CADs are like based directly around the box numbers, like especially the basic CAD, it's box 21 and then it's location, alarm, whatever else.
Just change it to residential structure fire.
Commercial.
Right.
Yeah, you'll just use an abbreviation. It's not that difficult.
So the CAD's going to be updated then. So someone's going to go and go through and delete all the box numbers and put residential, commercial, hazmat, etc., etc.
Yes, the CADs will be updated. That's something that can be done. I mean, I don't know if we're going to do it tonight, but it is going to be updated.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just wanted to like see what was the deal with that. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
With that being said, this is something that probably a lot of people are not going to be agreeing on. This was something that was passed down by Kix because he heard something. I do agree with him. I fully support this. I have not heard it, but I can see where the issue comes. We're going to try it, and depending on how much feedback we have, I don't know if we're going to change it or not. You can no longer call dispatch anything but dispatch.
Why though?
Because supposedly in a game there was, like, dispatch was being called 5 different names.
No, not 5 different names. It was just one.
Okay, well, there's also 1,000 other games that have happened, BZ. It doesn't matter, not just the one that you've been in.
I've been in games where we'll have used like 2 or 3 different names at the same time too, so.
The only one that I've heard that might cause a discussion is Central, and that's what most of like North American fire companies use.
Or command.
Say dispatch.
Like or command. I know personally, whenever I've done the dispatch game, someone will be like, "Oh, command, so and so, where do you want us?" And then I'll say, "Go ahead."
Command is supposed to be incident command.
Yeah, exactly. So I can understand where that would be a confusion. So I think that's a well welcome.
The reason we're changing it is because literally, if I go down a list in this room, I can guarantee you that everybody in this room can probably find a different name for dispatch. We can go through that. I call my dispatch in real life fire alarm. I do it, but if I were to get on the radio and say dispatch, they will agree and they'll call back. Dispatch is a universal name that every dispatcher out there will agree with and will actually at least answer back with.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because there's no confusion at all. Like when someone says dispatch answers. There's no other dispatch. So.
Again, yeah, fire alarm. I know it sounds weird, fire alarm, but that's what we call it. We can call it Harbor City, fire alarm, central, dispatch, communications, command. There's so many things we can do, so we're just going to keep it as dispatch, and we're going to see how that goes. I know, who was it? It was Goliath. Were you going to make a post?
Yeah, I'll end up making a post. For those who, I guess, work in the first response industry, some companies and cities have names for dispatch, like such as my city dispatch in Thunder Bay. We call our dispatch XJI 680, short 680. I was thinking about possibly coming up with a universal name that we can come up instead of dispatch, because I know some of you don't really want to call it dispatch anymore. I'm going to end up taking some time in the next couple of days of coming up with some short forms abbreviations that we can come up with dispatch, and then I'll post it on poll and then see what you guys think.
Why not either Harbor City or HC?
Well, so basically what we're trying to get at is the reason we changed it is not because we didn't approve of all the names that it was being called. We don't care what it's called, but it has to be called one. So, you know, he's going to make a post and we'll all vote on there. We'll all put our discussion what we want, as long as it's called one name.
911, I mean.
I agree with that.
Hey, Harbor City would be just the perfect name for one name.
Keep it one syllable.
Harbor City or dispatch?
What's that?
Keep it one syllable.
Dispatch.
HC.
So HC.
That could be easy to miss though.
Yeah, this is,
If,
I mean,
for anyone
How?
curious, that's actually 2 syllables. HC is two syllables.
Whatever. Oh my
Travis,
God.
Travis, you're too.
Let me.
Guys, we're getting off topic here. Right now is not the debate of what we're going to call it, because it's going to be 8 different things that'll come up in a poll. What we're saying for right now is it needs to be dispatch until we get this poll up, until we can figure something else. For right now, it's dispatch. The debate of what it'll be can come later.
Okay, moving on.
Dispatch 2 certs have now been, well, how do I phrase this? All dispatchers now have access to the advanced CAD, period. You do not need to be a dispatcher 2. You do not need to go through training for dispatch 2. So if you want access to the advanced CAD, it is another option for you to dispatch with. Put in an account. If anybody doesn't know, you need to put an account and you need to register for it, and we will approve it. So you can use the advanced CAD. If you want to get trained off on the advanced CAD, you can ask PB, you can ask an instructor, anybody you want, and we will train you off to know how to use it. You don't need to know how to use it unless you're a dispatcher, but again, you don't have to be a dispatcher to even use them. So other than that, Peter, go ahead, you're lagging out.
Sorry. Had
Has there been any discussion as to what perks a Dispatcher 2 will have?
That's what I'm getting to next. So because we removed it, I've opened it up to the training officers. They gave us a couple of suggestions. I'm going to open it up to the members. I'll probably put it in a forum post. We need to figure out something that the Dispatchers 2 have access to, or what they can do. I know we have a lot of suggestions. I'm looking for something that's more physical, but I can't find it, because I can understand we can open up where they can do supervisor or be a dispatch supervisor or 3-point, but I want something that they can physically have. I just don't know if we're going to be able to get that. So I'll put it in the forum post. We need to figure out something that the Dispatcher 2 needs to train up to or have access to, and then we'll go from there. Other than that, the last 3 things I have to talk about, I know it doesn't seem like it, but we have tallied up the training games, and we had a total of 42 training games for this month alone. That was in the month of March, and that was only from the training staff. So that was only from battalion chief down to FTOs, so we had any FTOs at the time. 42 training games is good for the month. It's not great. Last month we had 62. And back in December, I think we had like in the 90s. But again, we're just, right now it's kind of a little slow, so we are getting the trainings done. We gave out a total of 6 Tier 3 trainings just this month alone. So the new process seems to be working. And Hobby should be announcing those soon. Okay, sorry, I had a message. Okay, Hobby, let's go ahead and explain the new rules. And do you want to do that on your own time?
I mean, when it's my turn, that's fine. I'll do it.
Other than that, I think we should be good. I think that's pretty much it. DL, we skipped you, I think, so you can go next. I don't think DL's here anymore. Okay, Javi, you good?
Okay, first thing, everybody should be aware, I mean, they've been in effect for quite a bit now, the new changes to the training rules. I'll just end this. Forum post with the changes. We looked at everything. It was part of Operation what Kix likes to call KISS, keep it simple, stupid. He did his part on dumbing down the rules and changing the profiles, and he asked the training department to do our part, and we looked at the training rules and we eliminated some stuff that was just didn't be needed, or we just changed a few things around. I won't go through any of this because I think I already did. But if y'all want to read that, that's basically the changes to the rules. Next thing is the promotions. So these promotions that I'm going to announce are actually not the promotions of the month, but they're the promotions from the last meeting. The last meeting we had, it was February 28th. So it's been more than 4 weeks since the promotion. So there's going to be a few people on here that are on here twice, but I'll just go ahead and announce the promotions here. So we got Glun, Firefighter 1, Kajit, Firefighter 1, GMFD, Firefighter 1, Fire 8-1, Firefighter 3, Bevan, Police Officer, Lazarus, Police Officer, Tub, Dispatch 1, CFD 138, Dispatch 1, Jazzer, Firefighter 2, Tub, Firefighter 1, Cody Fab, Firefighter 1, KME, Firefighter 3, PB, Firefighter 1, Thomas, EMT Basic, Blazing Puppies, EMT Basic, Jazzer, EMT Advanced, Francis, EMT Paramedic, JWR 911 Police Officer, JPD Lion Police Officer, KME Dispatch 1, Goliath Dispatch 2, PETA Dispatch 1, and Chaos Dispatch 1, Chaos Fox Dispatch 1. Congratulations on getting those certifications. Like I said, there was a few people on there twice, but it's because it's been more than 4 weeks, and they got that training up pretty quick. The big promotions from this month was our 2 FTOs. So we did get 2 FTOs this month. It was Goliath and Holmes. Me and Eddie did sit down and go through an extensive process of trying to get these applications in and seeing who the best 2 candidates were. And we figured that those 2 guys were the best 2 candidates, Goliath and Holmes. We did look at a lot of aspects from how long they've been here, how much training they've done, if there's any PAFs on them, how active they are, things like that. And we came up with these 2 guys. So they've been pretty good so far. Getting some trainings done. It's getting a little while to get them checked off, but we're getting them checked off slowly. I think they're going to make good FTOs and hopefully in the future make good lieutenants. So congratulations on those 2 guys, and that is it.
That's all you got, Avi?
That is all I have.
User joined your channel.
I'm sorry. Yep, you're right. Bevan got captain. Seemed like it was a while back that he got it, but yeah, it was part of this month. So when we did do those FTOs, we did get a new captain, and it was Bevan, so he did get promoted to the captain position. He's been really good so far, helping out a lot. Has a lot to help out with, so congratulations on him as well. I think I'm done.
Okay, Francis, you up?
Nothing to say.
Jazzer?
Nope, I'm good.
Goliath?
I just want to start off by saying thanks for putting me up in the FTO position, and I hope that I can further the people and all the probies and make some people smile with all my training.
Make people smile when you train, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds so dirty.
Ooh.
Alright, Travis.
Oh my god. Alright, you got a PowerPoint? Let me pull up my Excel sheet here.
Uh-huh.
Keep your shirt on, put the guitar down.
Actually, before you get to Travis, Dio, are you here?
Yeah.
Alright, we skipped you a couple of times. Did you have anything?
One thing I'm just gonna say here, it's the same thing I said to the officers earlier, so now I'm gonna say it to everyone in the room. There's been some issues we all know about that have happened lately in the past couple of months. Well, I think we're through these issues. We're working our best to move past it. The one thing I'd like to emphasize for everyone, members, officers, the thing to remember is even though we are officers, hang on, I have to put my phone down because there's a cop driving by. Even though we are officers, we are also members first and primary. So that makes all of us members. We need to do a better job because there's been a disconnect between the officer group and the non-officer group of members. I'd like to see more cohesion between us all. There's been some times where it seems like members are treating the officers as if they're just here to train me and that's it, and officers being to the members, I'm just here to train you and that's it. We all need to get along. We all need to be friends here. That's the first and foremost thing. This is a community where we're all together in this. So I'd like to see some more effort put into the fact of when we're all just sitting in crew quarters, I'd like to see it where we're all talking with each other, not we all shut up because an officer came into the room, or we all shut up because a member came into the room when officers were just talking about non-officer related things. I want to see us all be able to act normally together in a respectful, professional manner, being friends. And I think that starts with the fact that we just talk. When you see an officer on in crew quarters, just go up, say hi, how are you, see how their day's going. An officer comes on and sees a member in crew quarters, do the same thing. We need to get back to the days where this was a community, not two separate entities as it's feeling lately.
Can I add something?
Go ahead.
I think one thing I have noticed is a lot of times, like specifically for officers, when they'll come into a room or something, they'll be there for a few seconds, and then they'll go up to their office with another person and kind of just separate it a lot. I think that has to do with a lot of the privacy that tries to be kept. So when an issue happens, obviously you don't want to plaster it all over crew quarters. So by pulling someone up to your office, but like for little things that like people are going to find out anyway, I feel like that could be said in front of people. It should be looked at to see if it's okay to make public instead of like ripping someone out of crew quarters and bringing them up. So stuff like that.
Could it, now I understand your point, could it be said in crew quarters? Possibly, but we don't know that at the time. So whenever there's a concern, we're always going to take it to an office first. And
yeah.
If there's no issues with it, we'll come back down to crew quarters and we'll keep talking down there with other people in the room. But also at the same time, when we go up to an office, there's a lot of times where a member specifically says, hey, can you take me to your office so we can talk? It's not that we go to our office to talk just to talk. When we're in our offices, it's related to a officer-related activity, whether that's talking to someone else or we're just sitting in our office because we're doing paperwork. We have the offices for that reason. We don't go up to our offices to hide and run away from you guys. That's the thing I want to emphasize. When we're in our offices,
User left your channel.
not because we don't want to be with you guys, talking with you.
Yeah, and I felt like that was just something that needed to be clarified, that's all. So, thank you for that.
Eddie, I still have one more thing.
Go.
Just so everybody knows, I think I announced this in the last meeting as well, but for any new people or if you just didn't get it. I've been getting messages sometimes of people asking me, can you add me to the training chart? Can you approve my training? And I look at the training chart and they're added. Like I remember adding them and I tell them and they tell me, well, I didn't get a message or how do I know? Everybody can see the training chart. If you go to Squad55 Training Department on the website, Squad55 Training Department on the website and click on Active Training List, you can see it. From what I've seen, this updates almost immediately. It says automatically every 5 minutes, but I mean, from what I've seen, it updates almost immediately. The turnover time from when you put in a training request to when it gets added is fairly quick. It's not more, most of the time it's not more than a day, because if I don't get it, then Eddie will get it, and if Eddie doesn't get it, then Bevan will get it. So you got 3 people that look at it almost every single day when they get on, and they should be adding. If nobody knows how the training chart usually works, as far as the date eligible and the date removal, if the date eligible is in orange, that means that you're not able to start your training yet because it's too soon. But I do add you on there because I just don't want to forget you, and usually it's about a week before or 2 weeks before I will still add you. But I'll just put your date in orange so everybody knows you're not able to start it. And the removal date, we have the rule where if it's 1 week from your removal date, then we'll put that in orange, just hopefully let everybody know and let yourself know if you look at it that, hey, you're getting pretty close. As far as if you're going to get removed, I'm very generous. If you're actually doing your trainings, if I actually see that you're doing your trainings and you're going to be removed soon, I probably won't even ask if you need an extension. I'll just give you it because I don't like removing people. And if you're actually doing it, then I'm just probably going to give you it. If you're not, then I'll message you and ask for an extension. 99% of the time, you're going to get it. You're going to get the extension if you ask for it, unless this is like your 5th time doing an extension. You haven't done any games, and maybe I'll be like, hey. But that's that's basically how it works. If y'all need to look at that, whenever I add someone to the training chart, whenever me, Eddie, or Bevan, we're talking about it, I think we might start sending you guys messages saying, hey, you have been added. But if you don't get a message, then just look on here, and most likely you're gonna be added. And it's like I said, it should update. So that's basically how it works.
Eddie, I'm gonna go real quick.
Javi, I have something for you.
Go ahead.
You know what we talked about the other day about the videos that I'm doing now? I mean, did you bring that up earlier? I mean, I asked I think Kix or somebody to bring it up to you and remind you about it. But where I'm doing these videos now, I was wondering if new recruits could come in, and if we're not available, like somebody's not available to do them, like the games, so they can listen in. If you could pick just a couple videos off my site, off of YouTube from my channel, I can do a standardized test kind of deal from that.
Yeah, I talked to. Yeah, we can do a game form. I talked to Eddie and Kix about it. It's a good idea because we do have recruits that get on sometimes, and you know, sometimes there's not games going on, and they can't get their games going. We're still discussing it, how we want to do it or how we even want to go about it. But yeah, we're talking about it basically.
I just want to make sure that was brought up because that's something that would be beneficial to me and everybody else in the squad.
I think, if I can add something real quick, I think it's a good idea just because almost every game that I've played that we've had recruits listening in on, I've asked to broadcast it. You know, and most of us can't. There's a lot of us that have broadcast tags, but for my purpose, if I start my broadcasting software up, before after I'm in game, it crashes it and it doesn't work. So yeah, I think it's a good idea. They can watch it and fill out their form at the same time.
Gibby.
I have the capability to record and broadcast on my computer, so I can do both. And I mean, they just have to mute their TeamSpeak sound so the lag doesn't bug them to death. But I mean, I can stream if need be and
It's
record at the
something.
same time.
It's something that we do have on our list. We got to make sure that the video, all SOPs are followed, no matter what. So we need to make sure that we review it before we actually release it. But it is something that we are gonna. I'm almost positive we're gonna end up doing. So at this point, we're gonna open it up to the members. We're gonna try something new though. Lazarus, since he's the liaison, will be leading the second part of the meeting, and this will pretty much just be for any members. So Lazarus, you can just start from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do it the same way we've been doing it. We're gonna start at the top with Travis there. Travis, got anything to say?
And I.
Oh my god.
Okay, so nothing constructive then. All right.
God damn it, Gibby.
User disconnected from your channel.
All right.
Oh, damn.
All right. So nothing to say, Travis?
No.
Okay. KME.
All right, I got two things. First thing first time I'm hearing about it, the box numbers. Keep it short and simple. I know we don't have 23s anymore. We know normally it's a ladder and an engine. I've played a few games with some individuals that it was an ops game or a training game. And it was, I think it was a Fire 1 final. And the officer who was the trainer said, don't worry about these type of calls. Just forget them. I just want to know why they did that if it's in the SOPs. Why say forget an SOP if, it's there, we've been doing it for how long?
So I probably answered this a little bit because I came in towards the end, but I kind of hear what you're talking about. So if we're playing a training game with someone and someone is doing they're not doing very good and it's just overwhelming them, we're basically scratch the training game. We basically tell ourselves, okay, forget it. He's obviously not going to pass, but we're not going to just stop it and tell him he's not going to pass. That's where we work on him one-on-one. Hey, forget about these calls. Everybody else do the calls. I'll make a call, or you just respond to one call, and then let's focus on that so we can go one-on-one with that. That's what we're basically trying to do.
Okay. I just don't understand why we put these box 23s in if, they're not even going to respond to them with an engine and a ladder like they're supposed to.
I have a question. I have a question for that, Kami. Was it the very first of the game they said, okay, we're not going to worry about 23s, or was it towards the end of the game and they're like, hey, the 23 came up right when the training officer may have been trying to put together a major incident that he wanted to see that person do, and he's like, hey, don't worry about that call, focus on this one?
No, it wasn't where the training officer was, trying to say just forget about it, because if there's not, and it's not if there's actually a working fire, it's just if it's just alarm bells going off and there's no fire whatsoever. I have played a few games, yes, where they said don't worry about them. I'm perfectly okay with that, but when they say in the middle of the game, they say, okay, you know what, we're not going to worry about this just because they're stupid. I don't agree with that.
So you're saying it's in the middle of the game, it's not right before the game's about to end?
It's in the middle of the game. I was playing South one day, and I was with an officer who has who has a buggy, and they said, okay, just don't worry about that South fire, we'll take it. And I'm like, it's my district, I just don't understand.
Well, there's two things I can see there. Number one is the first thing I told you, but if he's not doing that to go one-on-one with, the trainer, the second thing would most likely be someone has to go soon, and we're about to end the game, and we don't want to go over, so we kind of ignored the last probably call of the game, and we just continue to fight this call we're working on now, and that way we can end it, so we don't have to kind of go into the last call and go over time.
Yeah, and that I totally understand. But then there was one or two games where they said in the chat that, he said don't respond to 23s because I don't like them.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a reoccurring thing.
Yes.
With the same person.
Yes, and I have members in here to vouch for.
Okay, file PAF.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this just got exciting.
Huh.
Second thing, on a more happy note, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but April 13th, 2016 is going to be the 10-year anniversary from EM4 getting released. I don't know how many people are going to be busy that day. I was thinking maybe we could do some type of monthly event like Zombie Day that happened, some type of, event. See how many ops games we can do. A 10-year anniversary is like kind of a big deal. So, just something on a happy note. Maybe if everybody's on, we can, do a triple dispatch game, see it, check all the officers on it or whatever, see how many ops games we can get done, that sort of thing.
Kicks, do we have any funds for gift cards this month?
I'm not saying gift cards or nothing. I'm just saying see how many games we can get done. Just see how many games you can play. Keep a tally and, maybe every year or something, see if we can increase that or, you know what I mean? Like, just, I'm not even saying fund-wise. I'm just saying in general.
Maybe an idea that I have that and we can probably do is get a EM4 base mod, a mod that's on the EM4 forums. Post all over the EM4 forums that for this day we're opening up our TeamSpeak for anybody to come and just play some casual games with us.
That would be a disaster, I think.
What
that would be crazy.
Would it be
That'd be
just
fun.
regular Harbor City, or would it be just
No, it'd be LA mod, the one that everybody has.
Oh, okay.
No SOPs, just play the game.
Yeah, just
It would have to be the FD command one for LA mod.
Yeah, because that's the only one that works. But
Right.
that's besides the point.
User
but
joined
yeah.
your channel.
So but like I said, it's the 10th anniversary, so I think we could, you Chiefs can talk about the gift cards or whatever, you guys want to talk about for that. But I just thought it'd be something fun we could do. Pick a mod or, play Harbor City or do something. Just, have fun.
Yeah, we'll try to figure something out. Speaking of like the gift cards, does everyone enjoy like stuff like that?
Who doesn't like a gift card, Kicks? That's a dumb question.
Well, yeah.
What kind of question is that?
I know that is a dumb question, but I'm just saying because here's the thing, and I don't know if people just didn't understand how it worked, because I think Zombie Day didn't work out with it because of this. What would happen is it needs to, the target would be increased to $100.
Oh!
And then what happens is half of that goes to the clan, and half of that will go to prizes, because it costs about $50 to $55 for the gifts, like the gift cards, like $10 gift cards. So that's what you guys want to do. We also need assistance from the members to put in towards it.
User disconnected from your channel.
That's what he thinks of that.
User joined your channel.
So that's how it works. Is whatever half we get is half we get. So if we did, if we kept it at $50, half of that goes towards the clan, half of that goes towards whatever we can get for $25.
If we don't do the gift card thing, we'll look into it. I think the EM4 thing would be, this is an anniversary of EM4, not Squad55. That's why I think it's more of a community type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe we should consider not doing LA mod because it's not an LA mod anniversary.
You want to do just...
Are you plain old
EM4?
Everybody has it.
No, everybody's got it. That's
everybody got it.
Oh
Okay, this
God.
meeting's officially over now.
Not after that suggestion.
That's all I really have. If I have something else that I think of off the top of my head, I'll bring it up. But next.
I think the only thing I can advise KME though is don't drop this issue. I understand that you're giving it to us, and I want to say that as officers we will look into it. But in front of me, I have like 20-page list of things that we have to do. So I don't just want you to leave it to the officers. If you have an idea, if you have a way that it can be ran, do it. Present it to us. We will approve it.
Okay, cool. I'll think of some creative ideas and get back at you guys.
KME, I'll grab you after the meeting because I got an idea.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Cam, anything to say?
All good.
Alrighty, Martin.
Martin is like it's 2:15 in the morning there, so he's not gonna talk. But hold on.
Oh yeah, all right.
It's in the text box, what he wanted to say.
Yep, I see it.
I'm sure that's
Okay,
something that can
give-
be talked about, prior or later.
I done talked about what I want
Yeah,
to
I
talk
don't
about.
know. Yeah, I don't know if that's something that the officers want to discuss with them or not, but
Well, I mean, so we could, for me, we could do like, if we was going to do a couple games, do SOPs to a T. I mean, that's that. I mean, we could do a couple games, make sure SOPs are followed correctly with the video, and do that as need be, and then go back and look at what happened and make a test of it. But we'll leave that for now, and we'll talk about it later.
Oh, you're talking about the whole recruits watching the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing is the test at the end. I mean, do we really, like right now, the SOP states the recruit has to watch a game. Do we know the recruit is watching a game? I mean, he could be sitting there, look at one call, and then he leaves. So it's...
Very true.
That's exactly what
Very
I did.
true.
I'm not even going to lie.
There
that's
you go,
probably
see?
what half of them do anyway.
I listened to like one call, filled out a game form, sent it, then in the same game I listened to another call, did the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I mean, there's that too. But
Sorry, not sorry.
Why don't you just ask them to narrate the game? It's not that difficult. That's what I did for my recruit forms. That's what I know a couple other people did.
And like, no mean to cut y'all off, but that's pretty much what I've done. I've tried to watch, but they're like, no, just listen in. And I had the advanced CAD and the basic CAD up for when I was filling out my forms also, so that I could see the calls they're on. But it's not the easiest to get everyone able to watch at one time. It's always gonna be something else is gonna be going on or something like that, you know?
I mean, just narrate the radio traffic if need be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like engine 4 going on scene. I mean,
Yeah,
and narrate where
that's
they're
what they do a
going.
lot,
Like
yeah.
where they're going. Like
I
you can
think-
see it in the video.
I mean, you basically write an incident report for the entire game.
Yeah.
I think
that was
something.
Yeah.
I think something that would work really well is if in the game form, like when they fill it out, because they have to put who's in the game, right? So what if you just asked those people if there was actually somebody in the channel watching their game, and how long they were there or something? Because like normally, like someone joins it, my TeamSpeak tells me the name of whoever joins my channel. So if I'm in an ops game, I'm gonna hear, nice small police has joined your channel, and I'm gonna hear if he leaves my channel. So if he's in there for 5 minutes and then leaves, and then the next day he's a probie, I'm gonna be like, well, something's not right here. So I think maybe just checking in with whichever members are on the form would be a good way to solve the problem of people lying or not doing their game forms how they're supposed to.
See, I have that, whatever you want to call that on TeamSpeak. And there's been a lot of times where I would hear recruits come in and then all of a sudden they will leave. And then within a half hour or so, they're back on and they got their probie stacks.
Guys, I just want to interrupt here. We're not making y'all stay here. I know I got some PMs. If anybody needs to take off, you can. This is y'all's meeting now, so y'all can discuss what y'all need. But, I mean, the officers are pretty much done with what they have to say. If you have to leave, go in and leave. This is being recorded, so you can listen to it later.
I'm gonna stop the recording then. Oh, you alright?
What are we?
I'm gonna stop the recording.
Oh, no.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
All right.
Just edit
one-
the two recordings together.
User disconnected from your
quick
channel.
thing with the with the game form thing too. Maybe have them pick a call from the beginning of the game, middle of the game,
User disconnected
and
from your channel.
the end of the game. That way they have to write a report on each incident. So they have to watch the whole game. If you guys choose to go the watching the video route.
Okay, was that it?
Huh?
That was that. Can we move on to the next topic now? Is everybody done talking about this?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, that's all right because it got quiet for a few seconds there. IMAX. Anything to say?
Well, there's just a newsletter. I think I really wasn't here for most of it. I think so. Eddie kind of covered most of everything. You guys can PM me through the sites, and I can write stuff up. There's also inside the actual newsletter, if you guys read it at the very end, there's a couple ways you can submit things through Google Docs, so that way I can, and Eddie, and if there is any other staff, that they can also check it out. That pretty much ends what I have to say.
Okay, yeah. Regarding the newsletter, just like they said earlier, Eddie and Max are your main point of contact for anything regarding that. If you have any questions or you want to submit something, so you just gotta message them. I'll go last. BZ, anything to say? Just 1 second.
While he's waiting, I just wanted to clarify, I forgot to bring this up, guys. We are going back to, if anybody remembers in the old days, we're going back to the bot. There's going to be a bot in the ops channels that are automatically going to be recording, and it's going to automatically get updated to the website. It's just more publicity so people can, recruiting so people can hear it. So whenever you're on the website, you will be able to hear anything that's going on Ops 1.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah,
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Which means
Terrifying,
don't
exciting,
go around in
exciting.
Act 1.
That
Yeah,
also
don't
means
drop the
that
ball.
nobody's allowed to move that bot other than an officer.
Yeah, it's gonna be in whatever channel really a game's going on. If we're an officer that's on and we see that the bot's in Ops 1 and maybe there's a game going on in Ops 2, we'll move it. Also, this is a big maybe, but me and Eddie are gonna see if we can get with Radio Reference or Broadcastity and see if we can put it on there. I know there's some. Have y'all ever heard of like FSX VATSIM or Boss Pro TC? They're gaming communities that are extremely professional, but they have their stream on a website called Live ATC, which is Real World Aviation Traffic. Well, we're going to see if we can do the same thing with Real World Fire and Police or EMS Traffic on Broadcastify or Radio Reference to see if we can put it up on there.
That would be cool.
That would be really
great.
cool.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. But my only question is the bot going to be in a channel if there's a training game going on too, or?
Only for ops,
Yeah,
not
that's
training.
true.
I mean, we're going to discuss it. I know that when a bot's in there, they're probably going to hear some really bad communications against training, or they might hear some, foul language because, it's just, we're a community, so sometimes that happens. We're going to see what happens, but we're going to try to get it done. I'm going to see if Travis can do it. Travis said he could.
Yeah, we'll just have to put like a warning saying foul language possible. Just be mindful that it's people that are professional and they know what they're doing, and they have all permissions to curse if they have to, or if it just slips out, it's fine. Just be aware that it may happen, it may not happen. Just be aware of it.
Yeah.
I think we're on TV, sorry.
Yeah, we were, but I don't know if he's back. BZ, you ready to say anything?
Yeah. I have a question about when is it all right to spawn random stuff during an ops game?
You're talking about the cheat.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Ollie.
It's only okay if the officer says he's going to do it and everybody agrees on it. In an ops game.
Okay. What about if there's a dispatcher?
The dispatcher has to agree.
Okay. Because I've played many games where the officers that have the cheats just spawn random incidents in the game, and I don't know nothing about it until the last minute.
Let me rephrase that. The cheat involves everybody in the game. So if it's going to involve someone, then they have to be okay with it.
Well, the correct word is if it's going to affect someone.
Affect, there you go.
Yeah.
Everybody has to, because it's going to affect dispatcher, of course.
Mutual agreement.
Yeah, everybody.
Okay, so if I have a situation going on where I have a box 25 Bravo going on and also a box 21 Bravo going on, and all of a sudden I hear that there's 25 people laying in a parking lot for a bird flu incident, is that considered something that is supposed to be done?
What should have been done? What should have been done? Hey, this game's getting a little stale. I would like to spice it up a bit by doing this. Does everybody agree? Yes. Cool.
It's like, wasn't there an incident a while ago and somebody made up a call of a cat stuck in a tree or something, and it was like totally stupid and like everyone was pissed about it? Something like that happened. I don't quite remember.
Another thing that I want to know about is, like Kami was bringing up the box 23 incidents where instead of the normal engine and ladder going, the lieutenants or captains or battalions, whatever is on at that time that doesn't want to go to it, just decides to go to it on its own and cancels engine 1, ladder 1. Is that possible?
User joined your channel.
Did you just say that an officer is canceling units that are supposed to be on a call?
Right.
Yeah.
Why?
I think your guess is as good as mine. Well, I had an incident yesterday. I was dispatching in, and I was told that they were driving past that scene, which I'm kind of curious on why they were there in that area to begin with. And I know these units don't patrol, so it's just the fact that when I dispatch, I don't know if people just think that I've never played this game before or what, but I get lied to a lot when I'm dispatching, and it gets kind of irritating because I don't know if I'm allowed to say something to them about it or if I'm just supposed to keep my mouth shut about it, because it seems like every time I open my mouth, I get a PAV filed on me. So a lot of the times I just don't say nothing. I just say, okay, whatever, 10-4.
Well, now you're bringing up a different situation. If a fire alarm comes out and that officer, whoever it is, decides to respond from their station and say, hey, I'm going, nobody else go, or cancel everybody, and they haven't made scene yet, then obviously that's incorrect. Sometimes we do get our units and we do drive around from station to station or just simulate going somewhere and doing something. That's fine. That's the whole roleplay aspect. If they are passing by and they do see a fire alarm and they say, hey, we were in the area, we're checking it. What I would do is obviously keep those units coming and not cancel them. But they get an iffy situation if you do cancel them, because technically you are on scene and you are see what's going on, and that's your discretion.
Cammy, is this the same incident as what you're saying?
Yeah, it is.
That's just one of them.
Okay, we talked, Cammy brought it up earlier, just file PAF.
Alright, I got another little suggestion here. This is from Nice Small. On a smoke investigation, SCBA, on or off?
Off.
Off.
I mean, see, it's funny. I think we discussed this in every single meeting, and the reason we just really don't kind of do anything is because we don't.
I mean, you guys, we're trying to be as realistic as possible. I don't know how other departments do it, but when we do it, if we get a call for just smells and bells, single caller, nothing, we'll be ready to grab our packs if we need it. But I mean, we go out and investigate before we even put our packs on. I mean, that's I don't know how you guys operate in real life. I know you guys try to be as realistic as possible, but in my opinion, I say leave them off, unless there is an actual fire.
I mean, there's no SOP for it, so I mean, if you want to put them on, you can put them on. I mean, you're not gonna get in trouble for taking the next step. So I mean, if you want to put them on, it's just like the car fires that it used to be. You could do whatever you wanted. So I mean, it's smoke investigation. If you want to put them on, put them on. If not, leave them off.
Yeah, and to avoid any confusing, I guess I don't know if new people are aware of this or not, but I mean it's not wrong. You can put them on, you can put them off. There's no SOP, so you're not gonna get in trouble if you put them on. You're not gonna get in trouble if you don't put them on.
Now, one thing I will say, and I have seen people do this, if you are en route, you're clearing a call, and you're en route to your station, like back to your station, you don't have to stop in the middle of the street and put your SCBA on. You can continue to your next call. Like if you get another call on your way back to the base, you can just respond direct and put your SCBA on there. You don't have to stop in the middle of the road.
All right. Well, there's other questions that were involved, almost similar to what we're talking about here that I had. When we're sitting at station, are we supposed to sit in the vehicles, or are we supposed to get out of the vehicles? There's a little confusion there. I know I read the SOPs and it says you're supposed to get out of the vehicles, but I noticed a lot of people still sit in their vehicles. Is that
supposed to be out of the vehicles?
Okay. And when there's a dispatcher on, is it mandatory for these people to let dispatch know that they're gearing up, or because
no?
Yeah, because I get that a lot, and it kind of irks my nerves sometimes when I hear that gearing up. Like I could care less if you're gearing up. Just let me know when you're en route.
And the other things I hear is gearing up, received call, received page, received call out. Like, I mean, it's fine if you say that. Obviously, we're not going to get upset with you. It is unneeded radio traffic, but if you want to do more realistic role play, if you think you're a volunteer fire department in game, That's fine.
But we are
I mean,
technically a
that's
city.
what our career EMS does. They'll acknowledge the call before they go en route. They're career paid
Yep.
full time. So
Yeah.
I mean, it just varies on the area.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's just the gearing up part that kind of gets to me. We're gearing up like, okay.
I mean, there's.
Well,
I've played a few games. You know, I've played a few games. People say gearing up and route. You know, right away. I mean, it doesn't take that much more. I understand, BZ. I get where you're coming from, but I mean, yeah.
I think the whole thing there is just dispatcher discretion. Personally, when I'm dispatching and somebody tells me they're gearing up, I just put them en route.
Yeah.
Like on the CAD. Like the time it takes to gear up, I know they're just going to say en route a few seconds later, so I just put it. That's like the poll I made on the website a while ago about the difference between dispatched and en route. Like it's discretion, really. Like if someone says gearing up, I'm not going to say okay gearing up, and then 10 seconds later they're going to be like okay en route. So I just automatically put it there, and if I miss it, then I get told again anyway. So.
And also to touch on the starting incidents, that should be a training tool only. That really shouldn't be needed in an ops game. I really can't think of any situations that I've had to use it in an ops game, so that should be a training tool only.
You're talking about the officer chief.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that's a passable thing if it's happening in an ops game for no reason, correct?
What Kix is saying is that there is no reason that it should be operating in an ops game, period. Like, what Kix is saying is even if you are slow, you should not use it in an ops game. That's what Kix is saying.
Oh, so if it does happen in an ops game, you can file a PAF on the officer, correct?
I
believe I've heard that before. Somebody
Yes.
said it.
Here's the thing, it shouldn't be happening. If it does happen, the officer better be damn well sure that he has everybody's, permission to do it and ask everybody. But it shouldn't be happening. But if he does, he better make sure he has it.
I would say use guys' best judgment. I know it sounds dumb, but just like if you realize if it's a super duper, I mean I'm not saying it's right to do, but if it's a super duper slow game and an officer is doing EMS and he drops one patient somewhere just to give himself something to do one patient and it's not bothering anyone else, I would say use your best judgment. But at the same time,
you can't drop one patient. It's 25 automatic patients.
Jesus Christ.
I would just agree with you, Travis. Why is an officer can drop a patient but a member can't? Remember, an officer should not use that sheet only if he's doing a training situation period.
Yeah.
Because it also, if there's a dispatcher on, it really confuses the dispatcher on what's going on because the dispatcher's listening out for the call maker to give them that call. And then next thing you know, you get somebody saying there's 25 patients laying in a parking lot for a bird flu epidemic, and you're like, where the hell did this call come from? You know, and then they're asking for resources, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
Is that
so
any different to upgrading between an alarm? So like going from first alarm to a second alarm, how is that any different? It's just the fact.
What do you mean, how's that any different? When you got multiple big, huge alarms going off as it is. And then you got this person calling in saying that he's got 25 patients for a call that doesn't exist, and it just kind of throws you off because then they're asking for resources that you don't have to give.
Travis,
I think like Kix said, just file a PAF. But I mean, we're gonna be here till midnight if we don't keep going.
Yeah, long
Yeah,
story
we're gonna
short,
have
it should be for training games only. It's a training tool. That's what it was put there for. I will make the statement it should not be used in ops games, unless there's a very rare occurrence for some reason that it needs to be used. That's it. That's done.
I'm going to say I'm not going to file a PAF on it because I didn't think it was a PAFable offense. I just figured that if we talked about it and figured out what's right, what's wrong, then maybe it won't happen again. So I don't think that there should be.
I'm telling you what's right now. It's a training tool. It's used for training games only when it's
User
needed.
disconnected from your channel.
Okay, so we're just gonna move on from this topic now since we're eating up all of our time with it. C4 doesn't have anything you wanted to add. Peter, you got anything you want to say?
Yeah, actually, I have a couple things.
User disconnected from your channel.
First thing, I just want to kind of speak to the members and just say, officers have made mistakes in the past. I think everyone knows that. And maybe barring KME's situation, that seems a little bit more serious. I think we need to give the officers more, lax. Like, we need to lighten up a little bit because we're turning this into a members versus officers type thing, and that's not what this is. I think that we need to understand that the officers are trying to work with us. That's the point of this meeting. And, stop attacking them, basically. I know that may not be your intention, but some of you, that's kind of what it feels like to a third party like me. Anyway, my second thing. I'd like to have a civil discussion on dispatch tones. Maybe actually using actual tones rather than sound effects. What do people think?
We don't have tones right now?
We have sound effects that do not sound anything like anything I've ever heard, even from other departments across the country.
I agree.
Me too. I agree to that.
Engine, ladder.
No.
Yes. Yes.
I think that my district actually they have actual tones that are with the computer, but it's like computer dispatching. So if we need to, I have a link for our county radio that's on. It's just delayed though. It's a public radio pretty much, but we can. It's got two different tones, but we can. It's a heavy tone and a light tone. We can just record that and use that. It's either a banana or a banana, something like that.
Maybe
You're
not,
telling me
I mean,
that right now we're not using tones? Those are tones.
we're using the woo 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 and the pager beat for EMS. Neither of those are tones.
I agree.
Yeah, Eddie, they're not tones. They are sound effects.
You're right.
I've argued this before and
But
got nowhere.
What I was gonna say is that we have tones in the dispatch pack. I would just like to be told. I guess I would like a new standard to be set, if that makes sense, of actual tones. Like, I
agree.
understand keeping it simple, like one tone for fire, one tone for EMS. I agree with keeping it simple, but I think they should be actual tones.
I just posted a link for the radio stream, so just go to that, and it may be quiet for a little bit every now and then, but you'll hear the tones, and it's for Charleston County in South Carolina. So if you hear something, just don't act all confused.
You're from
So I'm just-
Charleston?
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm
I'm from Berkeley County.
Florence.
Seriously?
Okay, let's.
Low country.
Oh,
respect.
bromance.
Yeah, bro.
Let's
All
move
right.
on.
I'll work on the tones. We'll get tones.
Thank
Right.
you.
Now, can I add to
Appreciate
that real quick?
Uh-huh.
In the
Go ahead.
meantime, while we're working on the tones, and I don't know if I just brought this up in a meeting before, if I just brought it up to an officer, but I'm kind of curious about how fire and EMS are going to work. If they're housed in the same station together, shouldn't it just be one tone for everything and not two separate tones, or not a separate tone for
that's
each
kind
one?
of how it is for Charleston County. It's
I
it's all
understand
one
that.
tone. It's the heavy
User
tones,
joined your
light
channel.
tones. It's all one. Yeah.
Right. But since we're using this as EMS being a separate entity, so say a box 25, for instance, shouldn't that require two tones?
Not if they're. I disagree. Not if they're in the station, but if like
Yeah,
EMS is running a
You
call.
missed what I said
and-
though, Russell. They're
Yeah,
considered
I
two
get-
separate entities. So if they're considered two separate entities, then that should be two separate tones.
Okay, I think we should wait before we have a discussion about the tones until the officers figure out what we're gonna do with that.
When y'all say tones, y'all mean like that, like actual tones?
No, what I'm saying is our tones now that we're using. I'll give like that. So instead of sounding one tone for box 25, which dispatches both fire and EMS, but then yet if there's an EMS call, then there's a whole totally different tone there. So if they're separate entities, then if it's a box 25, shouldn't it sound like this? Shouldn't it sound like that?
Well,
Yeah.
I think I agree with what you're saying, DZ, on that. That's more realistic, but I also think that it's part of Operation KISS, and that we want to have a one-tone policy.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand that better now. Okay.
But yes, Eddie, I agree. Those are tones. What we use now are sound effects. But okay, Les.
Yep. Okay, moving on. Tub. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I got 3 things. 2 of the 3 are suggestions. It's for a box 23 or a smoke investigation, I guess now they're supposed to be called. I think in certain situations, especially when there's other fires going on, it's a little bit of a hassle to send an engine and a ladder. So, I mean, I don't know what entails changing the run cards to maybe just one of those two units. I mean, I understand, like, in real life, I know for a smoke investigation, they'd send, like, an entire structure fire response. I know that's how stuff like that works, especially up here. I had it happen to me the other day. But, like, I think it's unnecessary. For an example, if there's a fire somewhere and there's already two ladders held up, and let's say there's a ladder out of one of the... Let's say there's something going on in the west. So ladder 7 and ladder 1 are busy. So they have to send ladder 4 up to the power, or not the power plant, up to somewhere on Vienna with engine 3. So obviously engine 3 is going to get there way before ladder 4, so ladder 4 is just going to get canceled anyway. So, I mean, and especially in the sense that what are the chances that there's a giant fire going on and then there's also going to be another smoke investigation that turns into a fire? So I think, I mean, unless, like, maybe we could just specifically get whoever's giving calls out to say, oh yeah, this is a smoke investigation, we have callers reporting there's also a fire. Stuff like that. I mean, I think that would be grounds to maybe just send a box response immediately. But I think it would also be better if we didn't hold up 2 fire units for something that we all know is just going to turn into a smoke investigation.
Right, I totally agree with that because I've gotten those a lot because I dispatch a lot, and like Peter has said before in the past that we don't give examples on what's going on. We just box 23 fire alarm, and a lot of the dispatchers would just call it out as a smoke investigation no matter what, if it's a fire alarm or not, and it's because what the call maker says. Call maker says box 23, Washington Avenue in the south. Boom, that's it. That's the end of that conversation. Like, okay, that's all we got. All right, so then when the engines are responding, they're wanting to know, well, what's going on? You know, because we got to pretend like we don't know what's going on, even though that mini map says what's going on. We have to pretend like we don't know what's going on. So it kind of takes the realism away. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get what you're saying, I do. But I mean, how dumb do we, like, how much do we want to dumb down the game? I mean, that's part of the strategy of having that. I mean, it kind of throws a little bit of a twist in there when you have an incident like that.
True. I don't know.
So
I feel
challenge,
like...
is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's strategy gameplay still. I mean, what would you do in real life? You would send another unit to fill that, right? So what's the difference? I mean, you're going to send that, probably if it's that large of an incident, you're going to have a hazmat unit respond to cover the truck.
True. I don't know. I just felt like it's, like, unnecessary in certain situations. I mean, whoever's in-game can see that there's 2 ladders held up in the north, and they can see that dispatch is going to send ladder 4 to the west, because that's just the automatic next ladder. So I think whoever's in-game could specify, be like, smoke investigation, caller reports, no fire showing, they just smell something in the walls, or something like that. So then you could just send an engine. Or, you know, you could send a ladder. Because personally, when I send a ladder and an engine, then as soon as my engine gets on scene, or as soon as my ladder gets on scene, I just say you can cancel the engine. Because there's no point on holding up 2 units for something that's just going to turn into a box reset.
But you're not going to hold anything up, because when that first unit gets on scene, they realize there's nothing wrong, and they can return any responding units. And it's usually very quickly.
Right, like if I'm dispatching, if I know that engine 1 and ladder 1, for instance, was called out, and engine 1 gets there first, and I hear engine 1 say there's nothing showing, it's just audible alarm, I usually, a lot of the times, will cancel the ladder before they even get there.
I know another thing that has happened a few times is, I think mostly this happens with, I guess, probies or newer people who only have 1 or 2 certs that don't really know what they're doing or don't have a fire cert, is they'll wait for that ladder or the engine to get on scene with the other unit before they'll even get out to investigate. And then they'll be like, okay, engine 1's on scene. And then they'll be like, okay, ladder 1's on scene. We'll be out investigating now. So I think that should be clarified, maybe even in the SOPs, that you can investigate without both units on scene.
Well, the thing about newer people is usually it's not that. It's usually they have to learn how to multitask like that in a game. And if they have like a smaller incident or something, I mean, you can even send a text like, hey, you don't have to wait if that's what you're noticing that they're doing. That's like I said in the beginning of the meeting. I mean, if you see something going on with a new recruit or something, like let them know. You don't have to yell at them or talk down to them, but just be like, hey, just so you know, you don't have to wait for that to come. You can investigate it now and get that unit back in service. So if we need it, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Just one or two more things. I think that it should be not allowed because it's definitely a confusion. I know there was one incident. I think it was one of the two Nices that are in this clan now. There was a fire in the east, and whoever was whispering to me whispered the call, or didn't get a chance to whisper the call because someone came over and told me about a fire. But since he was a probie, he had no idea what the fire was called, or he was a recruit or something, or whatever he was. He didn't know what the fire was called, so he said, there's a fire across the street from me. And I said, well, where are you? What are you? You know, all this. So I think this whole, oh, we're just driving by, priority, there's a house on fire. I think that should be stopped. And you should just wait for whoever's whispering to whisper it to dispatch and let it get dispatched out to avoid confusion between dispatcher and the game.
Because half the time, as soon as the unit says priority, the whisperer or the call taker has already said it, and they're just trying to get the tones out and put in the CAD.
Exactly. I mean, and somebody else coming on the radio, oh, so-and-so priority, and dispatch is sitting there trying to get the call out, and then we got to sit there and wait for whoever's talking to stop talking.
Well, I kind of disagree with that, because I want that, to be honest with you, because that way I have a size up right off the top. You know what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to the recruits and the probies that are brand new, I'm like, okay, where you at? And then I'm tying up more traffic. But with the veterans, like myself and everybody else that's here, usually if they roll past there and they see something like that, they give me an instant size up. So that way I know what I'm getting myself into and I know the proper units to send. So I kind of like that when it comes to them seeing it and letting it be known even before the call taker gets to me.
Right. I think it's just something that the size it can be waited until after dispatch has their tones out. Because it's just like, personally, I mean, you've been a dispatcher or whatever. Maybe you like it personally. I think it's too much radio traffic, just way too much confusion on the dispatcher side.
But how often do we get calls while we're in the game of a box 21, but it turns out to be a box 22? So you could save the trouble of dispatching all these units if another unit's rolling by and say, hey, there's a brush fire, but the call taker said it was a box 21. You know what I'm saying?
Well, then that would be the point where whoever's whispering would come in and say, oh, there's been a 911 report of a car fire.
You're not watching Netflix, are you?
No, I'm not watching Netflix.
Why do you have headphones?
I just think it's too much confusion, and it's something that can wait until dispatch has their tones out. Whoever gets on scene can just easily say, dispatch, engine 6 is on scene, it's a car fire, you can cancel the other units. Just really, thank you, engine 6, we copy, all other units cancel. It's just...
Peter, what do you have?
I was just saying, as another dispatcher, I have to agree with BZ. I like it when when somebody essentially jumps a call, because it's one less unit that I have to dispatch, and if it does turn out to be a 21, or if it does turn out to be like a small fire that got paged out as a 21, it's a hell of a lot less work for me. And I can manage both at the same time. I can manage whispering and someone talking to me, so it doesn't bother me at all, and I would really hate it if people stopped doing that.
Yeah, me too, because I'm a big time
multitasker as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I want to dispatch in real life, so, you know.
It shouldn't be like, oh, there's a building halfway down the map. I see a house on fire. Like, yeah, that stuff's happening. That should not happen. But I mean, if the unit is literally passing in front of the structure,
yeah.
I mean, if we're doing realism, I mean, would you do that in real life?
Yeah, I mean, they have.
Someone's calling 911, loading it later.
There was actually one time somebody said something. They were like, "Oh, we see smoke coming a couple blocks away. You should go ahead and send a response," and it was just a mess. Yeah.
That should not happen.
Okay.
It should be, the unit should be physically pretty much in front of the address, passing it when they do that. And the only exception I will even give to that is if there's literally like a fire inside the station, or I guess right in that little virtual 3-foot radius of the structure of the fire station.
Yeah, so I think just one more thing. This is a suggestion. I'm going to leave it pretty open. What about Code 2 responding? I don't know where that would come into play, but like maybe dispatch could send a unit Code 2 somewhere. I don't know how that would work. I mean, maybe in a situation where somebody requests a second alarm to stand by, you can send that second alarm Code 2.
I mean, if I can add something to that real quick, it kind of brings something up. Again, I don't know how you people operate, in your departments. For the EMS side, because I'm currently on the ambulance, so if I have to go, I have to go. But if, like we get a patient, we have a priority 1, 2, 3, and 4. Priority 1 is lights and sirens to the hospital. Priority 2 is lights, light up the siren if needed. Priority 3 is no lights, no sirens because it's a non-life-threatening incident. And priority 4 is DOA. But, I mean, I do that in game. I don't know what your guys' ideas would be with that. But maybe, priority 3 response or code 3 response or whatever you guys want to call it, no lights, no sirens to the hospital, because for somebody who fell and bumped their knee, because those are some of the calls that we get in the game, is, does that seem realistic to go full bore lights and sirens to the hospital? But like I said, I don't know how other departments operate. I mean, that's just the one I'm on, is the, sometimes lights and sirens, sometimes just lights, and other times we just don't light it up at all, depending on the severity of the call.
Or the thing is, if it's not an SOPs, you can do it.
Okay.
Okay, is that it, Tub?
I'm gonna do it.
Yep. That's it.
All right, Mike. Anything you wanna add? You keyed up and we didn't hear anything.
No.
No.
I'm good.
Okay. Kiwi.
Oh yeah, for the bot that you were talking about earlier. I think that we should put it like in the meetings also. I think that would be a great help for people that like want to hear what we have to discuss, like so that way they know what's also going on. And I really think that this group has come so far that there's so many more things that we can do with this group that none of us even know, but we'll all find out together. So I think that this was a great meeting.
To come up with your bot in the meetings, so if you look next to my name, I am recording it and it'll be posted up in the forums along with someone should be making meeting notes. So whoever misses the meeting would be able to, go to the forums and listen to it from there.
He's talking about
Yeah,
like general
I'm talking about
public
for
listening.
like if someone wants to just listen, not have to come in TeamSpeak, so that way they can still listen to it like live. But
Oh,
that's
okay, I
what
see what you're
yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have that bot, we might be able to bring it down here.
Once we get it, that is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice small. Anything you want to add?
Nope.
Russell.
Not at this time.
Wheels.
No, I'm good.
Okay. KME, do you still have something you want to add? Or?
Just something real quick. It's an open discussion. Excuse me. I'm sure it's gonna get shot down. I mean, we've talked about it plenty before, but I still don't like. It's just personal preference. Calling the ladder trucks ladders. I mean, every department I've been to, if it's got a bucket on the front, it's a tower. If it doesn't have a bucket on the front, it's a truck. I mean, that's personal preference. What I like. I don't know how other departments like on the West Coast or in Florida, the southeast, whatever. But if it's got a bucket, it's a tower. If it doesn't have a bucket, it's a truck. Or if it's a tiller, it's a truck. That's just the terminology that I like using, and I hate using the term ladder because, I mean, nobody uses it.
I'd like to put an input on that actually. For here in Charleston, they do have towers and they have ladders. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is here in Charleston. All I know is that the city of Charleston itself does not own any towers or they don't own any bucket trucks, but they do call their trucks or their units towers and ladders. They'll call them different names. And I think there's a couple of departments around the county that do have bucket trucks, but I mean, I haven't seen them or I know about them, I just don't see them.
Up here, we have towers, which are like for high rises, mostly downtown. but instead of ladders or trucks, they call them aerials.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, where I'm
it's-
from, it's aerial tower, but we just
Yeah.
call it a tower.
Yeah,
But I could
here
see-
in Charleston, they have one of those New York trucks that's got the dual
User
driver
disconnected
system,
from your channel.
and so they have that in downtown Charleston. But I mean, that's tower or ladder 104, and that's just what it goes by. That's what his original
Yeah.
name was anyway. They were going to change the name just because they got a new truck or a
Isn't
new
that
rig.
the one that got swept away in the flood?
No, that was Tower 102. That was in Shadow Moss. Yeah.
I think that's something that could definitely be
And it's still
changed.
sitting in the training grounds right now,
User
actually.
joined your channel.
This is yeah, Javi.
So to reply what you are saying, it's not that we shoot it down. So just to reply, I remember this conversation coming up 2011, 12, 13, 14, and now 2016. It's always come up. It's come up almost every single year on the dot. We get a group of people who want to come in and they think it's, it sounds better to change it, and we'll change it. And then, when you guys are maybe gone, if y'all do, I mean, not saying I want y'all to go, but if y'all do leave, then we're going to get another group that wants to change it. Ladder, tower, aerial,
Users
platform,
disconnected from your
tiller,
channel.
quint. I mean, there's so many different ways you can call it. And I think we have changed it once, and then we just went back to ladders. I mean, I really don't see this
User
discussion,
joined your channel.
everybody coming to agreement of what to be called.
And I mean, the key thing that you said, Javi, it's not an SOP on what we technically have to call it. So, I mean,
But it also says it on the unit what it is.
I know.
User
And
left
see,
your
that's
channel.
where the disagreement could be. But at the same time, I mean,
Well,
I
you don't
think-
want to have do you really want to have SOPs for every specific thing we have to do?
no, I'm not.
Oh, no.
I'm
Let's not do
saying
that.
whatsoever. I'm just saying in general, like, I mean, we've never really came to a specific, like, I mean, Blackout is pretty much the one that I've seen mostly shut it down because he made he made the unit and he put ladder on it. And I'm sure in Harbor City 5 it's going to say ladder 1, 4, and 7. But just in my personal opinion, I just want to get your input. I'm not trying to argue or nothing like that. I just wanted input on what you guys call them, because I call it a truck if it's got a bucket, and I call it I call it a tower if it's got a bucket, and I call it a truck if it doesn't. I mean, that's simple as that. My city doesn't operate quints, so I don't have to worry about calling it a quint. But I just wanted your input. That's all.
I think. Sorry. I guess whatever I'm gonna say is quick. I think something that could solve this easily is do a poll, and I think it's a good idea to change it now, if any, because Harbor City 5 is coming out, and I think it's still close enough to where it could be changed if it gets changed. So I think a poll would be the best way to settle this disagreement.
The only
Yeah, your
problem
best
is
bet's
I've done a
probably-
poll before, and I've gotten the exact same amount of votes on each one, so that's why I brought it up again.
So
your
I think
best bet would be to
I think the question that we should be asking is it okay in game to call it something other than ladder?
That's what I
I-
should have started it out with.
And I can see that's what you're trying to get. It's that's a tough question. It's like saying, is it okay to call it something other than residential structure fire or something other than commercial structure fire? I don't want people to get confused. That's the main thing. For people in the fire service, they know if we call it a ladder, if we call it a tiller, but they know the different ones. For people coming in from not in the fire service, if we, hey, Quint 1's responding, hey, tiller 1's responding, or hey, platform 1's responding, they're gonna be looking at the run cards like, where the hell is that unit? Am I missing something?
True. Yeah.
And that's where it probably gets confusing.
Like
And
I
for
said, I
dispatch
just wanted your
especially,
guys'
it'll be a
input.
disaster.
Okay, Russell, you keep trying to say something?
But all the ladder trucks in the game have a bucket on them, so technically, I don't think they could screw it up. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yes and no, because some people probably don't know that. What are you saying? That you want to call them a platform?
A platform. That's what my department calls it, a platform. If it has a bucket on it, it's a platform.
And see, that's why I started my thing out with. I don't know how you guys operate. I just wanted to say that if it's got a bucket in my county, it's a tower. If it doesn't have a bucket, it's a truck or a tiller. It's not. It's
Well, let's just call it tower then.
Did you
See,
say problem is if you change
See,
it?
if you call, yeah, go ahead, Kami.
Huh?
You go ahead. You were talking.
No, I just wanted to say, like I said, I didn't want to argue or nothing. I just want to get your input. That's all.
Yeah, no,
I
no,
mean,
we're not trying to argue. And I know no one's trying to argue here. It's just if you change it, then you got to change it in the SOGs because you are gonna get those people that, or in the response policy, because you are gonna get those people that I'm gonna tell someone, okay, go ahead and give me a platform, and they're gonna look at the run cards and they're gonna see ladder and they're gonna be like, am I playing a different mod? What's going on here?
yeah, and I agree with that. And like the point that you brought up, some of our players aren't in the fire service. So I mean, they don't know the correct terminology for their community department. But
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past us that I'd say 85 to 90% of us are in the fire service, so we know the difference.
I mean, I think this all comes to the thing is there's different departments. Like up here, they don't call them engines; they call them pumpers.
And
They don't call them ladders; they call them aerials.
That's another thing. It's where I call, or in my county we call them wagons. We don't call them engines. So that it like I said, it varies from department to department. But I mean, there's enough engines in the game that they know what an engine is. But I mean, I still think it should be tower because it's got a bucket. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, tower is definitely for when it's got the bucket. Yeah, agreed. I was looking at the CFD, Mount Pleasant Fire, North Charleston, San Andrews, and everything. Ladder is no bucket. Tower is with bucket.
Well, I think it should be called an aerial then, because that's what my department calls it.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
We want to keep it
getting into the arguing.
Yeah, we want to keep it as sensible as possible. It does have a bucket, but it also does have a ladder, and that's the simplest thing. It's just like calling an engine, something else like a motor. Okay, it has a motor, so I think it should be called a motor. Because down here, that's what we call it.
Yeah, that's definitely Operation Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna move on from this topic because we all just keep running in circles. And if we do change the name to something else, we change it to aerial. Somebody else is gonna be like, well, let's change it to truck, and then we'll change it to truck, and somebody will be like, let's change it to platform. We're never all gonna be happy with the name of the vehicle. So if you really want to change, put up a poll. We'll see what happens. But other than that, we're gonna have to move on because we're all gonna die sitting here arguing about this.
Yeah. I agree.
BZ, you still have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, this has something to do with the earthquakes while there's a dispatcher on. I know myself when I dispatch and an earthquake occurs, I'm not going to bite off more than I could chew. So I throw all the units to self-dispatch mode. I'm just kind of curious if that's something that we can add to the SOPs, that if an earthquake occurs while there's a dispatcher on, that they can actually throw all units to self-dispatch and then let dispatch just sit back and wait until everything is all cleared. Because I've watched different dispatchers handle earthquakes, and all those different dispatchers that I've watched, I've heard them ask for the game to be paused so they can figure out where everybody is at.
Well, if there's an earthquake, it's supposed to be EMS is pretty much all out of service. So dispatch knows that, and they just pretty much call whenever they're back in service from the hospital after dealing with other patients. And if it's a fire, usually they will say, dispatch, there's a fire in my district, and then it just goes from there. You just handle the fire.
Okay.
So pretty much what you're saying, Kix, is the fact that EMS isn't going to be talking to dispatch. It's just going to be the fire units handling the fire, because all EMS are going to be out of service handling, because there's always more casualties than there are fires.
Yeah, and then fire department, really, I mean, from what I've seen in the past, is it's usually EMS will just request straight to them, like, hey, South, can you QRS for me during the incident?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that makes sense.
Right, but see, when that's going...
Just keep EMS, out of service, and then focus on fire units. And when medics become available, just notify dispatch saying, hey, I'm back available.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But while that's going on, you have EMS requesting QRS from other engines, but then while there's this box going on, you don't know which engines have went where because EMS is just steadily coming over there saying, I need QRS at this location, I need QRS at that location, I need QRS here, QRS there. And then the dispatcher's like, holy cow, I can't keep up, you know?
Well, I think
Yeah.
I think during an earthquake, I agree with fire departments self-dispatching themselves because it's way too much for the whisperer to whisper to the dispatcher and the dispatcher to the tone. But fire needs to keep dispatch in the loop, and dispatch needs to stay updated. Dispatch can't just sit back and be like, all right, y'all handle yourself. I'm gonna go like take a piss or something. That's
No, I'm not saying that, Peter.
You need to keep up with the units that are going where. But I think you did that once when I had an earthquake, and I was really confused what you were doing. But anyway, so long as dispatch is kept in the loop, I think that it should all work well. Because then when EMS needs something, I mean, they could call dispatch and be like, "Hey, give me an available engine."
Right, I stay in the loop. I'm not saying that I just get up and walk off or I just totally ignore what's going on.
Okay,
every
that's
time
what it
I
sounded
hear,
like. I'm sorry.
right, my bad. I'm sorry if I worded it wrong. But basically, what I'm saying is the dispatcher should just put him in self-dispatch mode and listen to what's going on and try to keep up that way instead of trying to respond to everybody's call-outs, because it's kind of hard. Like, for instance, if EMS is requesting QRS from multiple engines, you already have another engine say, hey, we got a fire in this, in the background here. So we're already trying to catch up the CAD on that. And usually when I put these units in self-dispatch mode, I will hear the different calls that go on. And once they're done talking, then I'll chime in and say dispatch copies direct on what's going on in that area.
What's the difference if someone just goes, medic 3 to south, can you send a unit to QRS over here? And then they say, okay, dispatch, did you copy? I'm going to be sending hazmat 6 over there.
What the difference is we don't have to worry about toning out.
You don't have to tone them out. They're just going to, the only thing you're toning out is going to be an additional alarm. The fire, or, I mean, yeah, because whenever there's a fire in the district, South will come on and say, dispatch, be advised, we have a fire in our district on Black Avenue. They don't have to whisper, they don't have to do anything. It's an earthquake. And they will send pretty much the first alarm, because each district can do their own first alarm. And then if they request a second alarm or whatever, that's whenever you kick in.
Right, that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm saying. That way we don't have to tone out that call when they call it in. Because I've noticed dispatchers trying to tone out those calls that are coming in from these fire, from these stations, say, oh, we got a fire in our district. So they're trying to tone it out and send these units, but then not even realizing that they've already been requested by EMS. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, if there's a fire in South, I'm just going to say, dispatch, be advised, we have a structure fire on Black Drive. Our units will handle. And then if EMS says, South, do you have a unit available? I'll say, I do. Dispatch, be advised, hazmat 6 is going to be doing QRS on, Washington.
Right. So basically, it would be safe to say that fire and EMS can go into self-dispatch mode when it comes to that, but any other calls that come in after the earthquake can be toned out.
Well, I mean, if I request a second alarm, I mean, you're going to be dispatching a second alarm.
Right. That was all I had.
Okay. All right. So, does anybody else have anything they want to say?
Other than the fact, oh, go ahead.
No, mine's pretty final, so you go ahead.
I was gonna end the meeting, or not end it, but like last note of the meeting.
End the meeting too.
I've got one thing.
Okay, I'll just say it. I just wanted to thank the officers for sitting here for now. What are we going on? Like 7 hours for them?
Stop.
Peter.
What?
User in your channel timed out.
I think that we need to be able to possibly get a couple bots actually, so that way if there's multiple games going on at one time, we're still able to have it broadcasting at both spots. That way someone can just pop in either one on the website and listen in, and they don't have to
only
worry
do one.
about. Okay.
Yeah, they'd play over each other.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so are we done?
Okay.
User in your channel timed out.
Peter, what were you trying to say?
I was just saying I wanted to thank the officers for taking the time when they already spent 4 hours talking amongst themselves to stay here with another 3 with us.
Yeah, I'd like to send my gratitude to them. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
No problem.
One last thing. I have to make a quick trip to the store if we're all done. After that, I want to know how many people are going to be on. Possibly we could do a triple dispatch, and maybe if the officers are going to stay on, we could show them how it works. If not, I'd like to play a game.
User
So,
entered your
you
channel.
guys have any other last words, that's fine, but I'm going to run to the store before it closes. But count me in on an ops game or a triple dispatch if you guys, are going to do one. I'll be on Voxer on my phone, and yeah. So I'll catch you guys in a little bit.